Welcome, travelers. Hello, hello.
Let's go. Welcome back to another episode of Immersive Storytelling. What the
Ooh,
squad?
episode
Good.
18.
Isn't it amazing? Like, we've been doing this for almost time is tricky. Like half a
months.
year.
I hear season 2 is going to be lit.
Whoa, season 2. Oh, snap. No, what was our goal when we set out? We were like, we
I
gotta,
think it was 21.
I think it was.
I think, yeah, we'll talk about it later, but that might still be season 1, 21.
Awesome. All right, so I know I shared with y'all a couple ideas of what we could possibly talk about. They're not coming to my head right now, but let me see if I can pull them up.
Excuse me. I was too. But while you're looking at that, from my on my radar, one of the biggest things was the new iteration of ChatGPT, ChatGPT 40. It's kind of like a super uh, her-esque intelligent model that's supposed to be available to everyone. I've tried to see if it's on the free platform yet. I haven't seen it. I haven't been able to test it. But excuse me, I think it's on premium. I'm definitely going to do it. I think it's really good. I just had slowed down on my usage for AI for a little bit, and with so many tools, it's like, well, I don't need all of them. I can take on one. So that the film Herb, Spike Jones, is essentially where it's featuring Joaquin Phoenix and the voice of Scarlett Johansson, and it's a really good film. And essentially, a new operating system comes out, and it's a sentient AI, or kind of more like an AGI, and the main character develops a relationship with it first, being um, uh, uh, primarily as an assistant to his everyday tasks and life, helps with writing, helps him connect emotionally, and just be a friend and confidant, and then even into a romantic relationship, which I don't want to give too much about the movie, but the technology is real. And actually, a stunning twist of events. Apparently, allegedly, Sam Altman reached out to Scarlett Johansson to utilize her voice for this new update. I said no. Um, he tried
And he
again,
still
and yeah, he still did it. Essentially,
did.
allegedly, he still did it, and
Yeah.
there's a court case going on because of it, which is
Wow.
pretty interesting. Yeah, that was a real Black Mirror esque moment in reality, like fiction mirroring reality or art mirroring reality. So I'm excited to test out the chatbot, um, and see what we do. Translate things in real time, like from French to English. If you can translate in each time for each language, English to French, French to English, and it's gonna do some really incredible things. So I'm interested to have some conversations and test it out.
Let's go. No, we're living in a space where AI is rapidly evolving. So excited for that. Here are a couple topics I was thinking about for today. How we, how we currently are using storytelling for our own brands, tools we might be using, and our creative workflows. So I love working with y'all because y'all also have your own pursuits, and it's just amazing to see how y'all grow. And you each have your own skill set. Like Carolina, I love looking at the content you make because it feels. I know it's something I'd like to work on. It looks so cohesive. Like your brand is very spot on. Your Goodnight Beautiful Humans brand is just. I look at it and I was like, oh, that's Caroline, and it looks. I was like, how does Caroline do this? Because I'm like, when I look at your early posts and I look to your latest post, it looks like it belongs in the same story. There's a whole theme to it. And I know that's something that I've been trying to work on, because like I do get told a lot that I am very sporadic. So working on refining that. So passing it to you, Caroline, in the sense of like how like what's your inspiration for how you tell your brand story?
Well, that's a huge compliment. So thank you first and foremost for all of that love. I do appreciate it. It means the world. But yeah, so I think and it's interesting. I'm about to dive into a social planning session for the content that will follow, mainly based off of a photo shoot for the product shots, and then I guess one driver for the cohesiveness is just working off of the triads, just because of the way the grid is sorted, kind of using the three as a guiding force of creating the overarching story or tying it all together.
And for people
And
tuning in, this is for Instagram that I think she's talking
for Instagram, and I also believe
Oh yeah, TikTok
has
does too,
three
right?
too, unless
Huh.
you're on the iPad. So yeah, so working together in those threes sort of drives the overarching visual of cohesiveness. And incorporating quotes that tie into the overall pattern. At first I was exploring inspirational messages that were generated outside of that, and it wasn't feeling like the brand, so I went back and revisited it and then did handwritten notes, kind of like what started on my personal Instagram on Skin Underground, and with a cool background. But in this sense, the background is the pattern of the clothing, so it's kind of all ties in. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a combination of utilizing the visual as a way to tell the story, especially since it's such a visual heavy platform, these things, and then going deeper from there with messages that resonate with the brand, and shots that show a sort of playfulness that is part of the brand. And it all kind of ties together, or at least I'm hoping it will.
It feels like it does. Sometimes I'm just staring at it. I'm like, Caroline, it feels so effortless. I know it's not,
Playfulness.
but like
I think
was
it's
just
like I really
go
like
for
that
it.
playfulness. The playfulness. That's like a really, really good thing to tap into, because it's just, even if it's not simple or effortless, it exudes that because it's playful. I think that's a really good descriptive word for the branding too. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Love it. And Xander, for you, I also noticed too, like I really appreciate the way you've been like, helping me learn some of these other Gen AI tools that I wasn't as familiar with. But the thing I noticed too is like when I use Midjourney versus when you use Midjourney, you have your own style with Gen AI. It's very interesting. Like like that's something I've even could tell people is like, even though you have these tools, doesn't mean your output's gonna look just like someone else. So I still, like, I've been there with you, like creating prompts, and I'm still amazed at like how you find your own style within these tools. Or yeah, like how do you use these tools for your own narrative, because it also does feel cohesive. Like I see a piece of content and I'm like, oh, that's Xander.
Oh, cool. Yeah, no, that's awesome. I think that might be a curation process sometimes, but yeah, like for me, for the Gen AI stuff, it's pretty inbound marketing. It is a lot of inbound marketing, so it is like a lot of ad generation, but I don't want it to feel or look like ads necessarily. So that's when I try to find guiding force to tap into for brand narrative. And I think that coming up with campaigns, and then sticking to that for a certain amount of period has been really effective for me for the storytelling. Whether it's a different type of stories. For now, it's been it's been primarily like finding a voice or a tone with the generative AI, because generative AI continues to progress, and I think it's really hard to create your own style outside of that. So, I think you can do through obviously what you generate, how you talk about what you generate, the narrative behind it, and also like your workflows. So I think I've been really creating some unique workflows that are unique, original, and kind of fit my style. So it's really cool. Thanks, Kim. And it's been a blast experimenting and exploring some new generative AI tools as well with you that I haven't been so familiar with. And, it's just it kind of helps you, I guess, like get used to the language, since a lot of these are natural language models. As you talk to them more and the different kinds, I feel like you kind of start to develop your communication skills, or a skill like anything else. Yeah.
I guess that is true. It's like all these communication is such a key part of storytelling, and especially like I know some of the challenges I go through is like, how do I communicate as much as possible without words sometimes, especially when I'm running events in countries where the prominent language is not English, but like also trying to like culturally connect on a different level. So there is a lot of personalization that goes into the content. I love what like y'all output, because like Caroline, I've been looking at your like some of your recent posts, and I'm like, wait, is this a filter, or like how did Caroline make? Like I'm still blown away, even with the tech that I know is available right now, because you're like changing backgrounds. It almost looks AR filter-esque, but then I'm like, wait, is Caroline in Palm Springs? Did she actually go to Palm Springs to like take this, or is she just make it look like she's in a movie, like a movie star right here? So would love to hear if any tools that y'all feel have like helped in your creative storytelling ability, or like ones that you're excited to try out too.
Sure, I'll take a stab at that one. Excuse me. One tool, of course, that I've continued to utilize is ChatGPT. Like just throughout whatever process it is, like it's coming up with a concept or an idea. Like it's so integrated into my creative process, I don't even like really second guess or think that, it might be like just a couple sentences, or I might complete something entirely and then want to have a new perspective on it. So upload the whole thing, tell it what I want, tell it who to act as, what I'm looking for, and then when it gets to output, like weigh the two and like combine them. So it feels really collaborative in that way. So I've been utilizing that. And one other thing is also to tell the story of the work that I've already done. I've been really trying to showcase my portfolio and the things I've been able to do in the industry. And sometimes it can be hard because you can share the work and it can speak for itself. But I think that it's good to have more context and backstory, and like however you drive the narrative, what's the purpose of, are you sharing it? I'm like, I'm not sharing it just to show people what I'm doing. I'm sharing people to maybe educate them on all the steps in the process involved, so they can see how this type of product or work or process could benefit their brand, and so they can build a little bit more empathy and see the process and the structure that goes into creating these projects. Because sometimes I'm not so good break down all of the technical steps that has to happen in order to create a piece of content.
Y'all use a lot of tools, and yeah, Caroline, so your work, what you output feels so cohesive. So the idea right now that you're saying, I'm going to go create a social plan, like a social media calendar plan, is like mind blowing to me, because I would have thought that you already like had it because of just how cohesive, and like I look at it and you're on it, just consistently outputting stuff. But like also just amazed at how it just looks so good. Like would love to hear like what are the tools that like help with that creative process, especially because you're also doing, you do Instagram, you do TikTok. Now our homie Janice, shout out to Janice, is out there working too, getting on camera, trying to work for her.
Yeah,
Janice
he's resting.
Oh, good. Janice is a
I
movie
think
star
from a
now.
tool perspective, it's combining traditional marketing tools and calendars like seasonal, and then also implementing the lifestyle calendars. And yeah, I mean, I haven't been using a whole bunch of tools right now, so I don't have much to say. But
Really? So you're not using tools?
I am
Or
using my tool kit right here. Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, do you have at least, I guess, somewhere like where you keep all your quotes or images or like things like that if you all use? Like, because I know part of the challenge that I always kind of face is I kind of like Xander touched a bit earlier is I have so much content that sometimes the challenge isn't necessarily creating the content, it's like using what I already have to tell a story. But like as we all know as creatives, sometimes the hardest part is like getting all our stuff organized so that I could use it more as a tool. It's like once something that sped up my process like with some of my events is I started creating like mini videos that would get reused in other videos. So like things like the title announcement or like important information about the event, like I could overlay that onto another video, and that helped like speed up the process a little bit, but still kind of toying around with the story because as we know in marketing, something that works this week doesn't mean it's going to work next week, so we're always testing.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And yeah, like excited about these tools because I do feel like they've, especially with the Gen AI, it's helped open the door into like what is possible. But I do notice that I'm still trying to figure out how to like combine the two of like real life content mixed with the Gen AI, because I do feel like there's definitely a niche of like people who tell me, yeah, your content is so good, like I love it, and it's usually people who have like tech, and they find Gen AI cool. But I definitely notice that there's also the other people who are like would rather prefer content of like a human that they actually recognize. So I think something that I've one of my goals for like the next, maybe for this is a goal for season 2 of Immersive Story podcast is that I would like to lean into my personal brand a little bit, because I feel like that's a key part of like Pretty Theo's brand that's a little bit missing. But I also know that whatever brand you're trying to push is your own personal brand can only like help. So by being more accessible, I want to be more accessible to my community and like them connecting my face with like with just the movement, and I appreciate Caroline that, yeah, like sometimes I tell myself, like, what would Caroline do? Like, Caroline would be out there on camera, like just doing it, like, out jamming or like out there modeling her drip. So definitely taking pointers from both of y'all, and same, like Xander is just gonna go learn a new tool, like always.
Yeah, maybe we, as part of our personal brand, we make a spreadsheet and we share it in the show notes with the tools we use and like, like a simple Google sheet, and like we can put our names on tabs and have like, what do we use this for? And like, that might be helpful to people.
I do feel like you'll be helpful, because the thing I know too is a lot of people the challenge is like I think we've been doing this for so long that like we don't even realize all the tools we use.
Yeah.
Because like something that I know that even from working with artists that's been hard for them is like I've told them the importance of like artists to have an electronic press kit, and just like anyone in general who has a personal brand, having an electronic press kit really helps. But like the thing that I've realized a lot of when I tell people that sometimes they're like, I don't even know how to make one, which is like to me kind of like amazing because like it's just like a shared space. You could do a Google Drive or a Dropbox, and you just put all the relevant information about you, like a small about me or like a photo, like just simple things. But those are often what most people are missing. It's just that first little step, like a spreadsheet. I love that you went straight to a spreadsheet because yes, as a person who does not usually like do order, giving the order goes very far. Yes. How about you, Xander, though? Any tools that you're excited about and or have helped your creative process?
Uh, I don't know if I'd say so much as tools is one thing that kind of doesn't I haven't talked about or doesn't get maybe sometimes talked about enough is data and asset management, which you kind of spoke about briefly with like using evergreen content for your production process up, which is great, or utilizing formats like logo, intro, outro, those sort of elements you can maintain to reutilize and like speed up your production process. Also, like organizing your files by name, by type, by date. Maybe you can color code or organize them of your current work and work that you've done, so you can reference it and just speed up your overall workflow. So it's kind of like one of those not sexy parts of being organizing files and folders and stuff, but it is crucial. And sometimes, yeah, it can speed up your whole workflow and elevate your whole process. From end to end, it can increase your effectiveness. So that may not be super sexy, but I think that's one of the cool aspects for storytelling or designing that I use. And that's Mac OS. So I use the Finder in hard drives and folders, and also Google Drive. And it helps also when you're creating a portfolio. Sometimes you don't have the speed or you don't have the time to stop and update your portfolio because you're so just in the trenches with either work or doing work, current projects. But if something slows down or you make time to do it, it'll probably benefit you a little bit. Maybe help your process and get you some more clients when you share those things. So that's cool. Any other tool I've been utilizing? One tool that's having a moment I'm really excited about. I'm going to start diving into. If you follow me on LinkedIn, you can see more of my content or any of my other social handles. But it's 3D and generative AI. The Adobe Substance family had a lot of updates in the last couple of months, really implementing their Adobe Sensei, which is and Adobe Firefly, which are their generative AI models and AI models. So they're really making 3D really convenient for a lot of people. And other than that, so the generative AI, the generative fill, and the generative expand features are now in other multiple apps. So what that is like, if you want to remove a background or take somebody out of an image or expand your image from like a 1x1 to 16:9, they are in Adobe Express, which is a really cool tool that has a lot of just like for social media or content creation. It's like a really nice robust suite that has there's a free version and a premium version. It has a lot of models and templates for your design creation, from anything from graphic design to social media design, content scheduling, and generative AI tools, and yeah, all kinds of graphic design features in there. So it's really powerful. So those tools, the Adobe Suite and the 3D Suite and the Adobe Express. And Adobe Portfolio too. That's really cool. You get like up to 5 websites with your subscription you can make. They're not like maybe not best for e-commerce brand or services, maybe kind of sort of, but it's very good for portfolios. I think it's obviously it's called Adobe Portfolio. It's kind of the main purpose for it. So check that out. Your paid subscription, and we are not sponsored by Adobe, but feeling like maybe we should be.
Sponsors, hit us up.
Let's get it.
Yeah, thank you all for this wonderful chat and looking forward to the next episode. So see y'all on the next one.
Until next time.
Woo!